Alright, welcome to the Amazon Nomads podcast. Seth and Thomas Parkinson. Alright, guys, I can't actually hear anything. I'm actually in Thailand right now. This is a very difficult and all good podcast. It's 10 p.m. here and it's 3 o'clock. And behind me is a ladyboy.
Gavin's happy. We know where Gavin likes to hang out.
How are you even going to be able to hear us, Gav?
I can hear you. I've turned off my video. It's fine now.
Gavin, that's the thing we want to see.
Yeah, we want to see Herbland.
Okay, so we're going to play a game. Oh, I can't walk though. I'm still in this pub right now. If there's one thing I learned about Thailand, there really is a lot of ladyboys. If a girl is hot, probably a ladyboy. Number one advice.
I didn't notice that, but I must have been spending too much time with tourists, maybe. Or just generally being a good boy. Maybe.
Maybe it's where Gavin spends all his time.
True.
Gavin, are you in is it Payata?
I'm in Koh Samui.
He's not in Pattaya.
Pattaya, that's it. That's the
Pattaya,
one. Yeah, Pattaya. That's the one. I was like, oh, where is he now?
Yeah.
That place is horrible.
Oh.
I've never been.
Went for one night and it was not recommended.
Right. Well,
so
you
Gavin,
Seth himself.
yeah.
Okay, so
well, I didn't really.
Koh Samui is good, but there's not much happening. It's quite an empty place, really. It's like a small island. It's the opposite of Koh Phangan.
Koh Phangan.
Yeah.
But you haven't been there, so how do you know?
All the fit chicks who I meet on Tinder are there, not in Koh Samui. There's a reason for that. So, and from what I hear, that's the party place. That's where the full moon party is, right?
See.
So you're going there tomorrow then?
Nah, man. Maybe on the next full moon party in December. Maybe.
How are the shoe sales doing?
We did about 4 to 4.5K yesterday. Really good, man. How's your MF with books going?
I've only just started doing it, so we started buying books again yesterday afternoon, which is very exciting because I was very bored of looking at shoes and doing deal analysis on shoes. It was just so dull by the end of it, looking at ratings and stock counts, and I just thought, I am a books man and I'm better at it and I prefer it, so I'm glad that we found an alternative solution that hopefully will work very well. So that's about it really on the
This is following on from our conversation last week around going down the MF but also seller fulfilled prime route, is that right? And focusing more heavily back on books.
Exactly, yeah, because one, we validated last week that even if I did really well with shoes, that wouldn't actually help my standard size storage, so it would be kind of pointless if I want to scale books higher. So my plan will be, seller fulfilled prime, sell as many books MF as possible, obviously throw as many of those in January when the restock limits go up, and then whilst all that's happening, I would like to try and find some wholesalers that are close by to either of my prep centres and just find some really, really low profit items that sell mega fast. Like, I don't even mind if we lose a couple of cents per item if we're just selling like loads, just so that we can then increase our turn rate and then just source more books. Because I had someone come through to me actually the other day who I've spoken to before about buying lots and lots of pallets off them. So it's quite funny how, Tom, you suggested what you did last week, and then a few days later I actually got an email from someone who supplies bulk books. It was quite bizarre and serendipitous that happened. So hopefully that will come through, and then I'll just have like 50,000 books in a few months' time, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. How's Tom's Amazon store doing?
I think we're good. US are running out of money. That's what I thought.
You had like 19k to spend last week, wasn't it, or something?
This week we only had 13k to spend. They did like nearly 50% ROI, so 13k to spend, which is fine. The UK, so we spent that all by Thursday, so really happy with that. The UK side, so the US, we spent 13k, about 50% ROI. The UK side, we spent about 42k. That was the end of play yesterday, so Thursday, Friday now. We did that about 25% ROI, which I'm pretty happy. But again, it converts, we're probably going to convert that probably just like 18, 19, 20% at sale. So it's not huge, 25% purchase, sales at 18 to 20%. When we actually retail it. Did get another Amazon loan, 360,000 or something from the UK,
nice.
Which is quite nice. It's not as big as the one we had before. We had 680 before, but we never took it all because we just couldn't spend it. I still now have multiple six figures sat in the bank account every night, every week. So I can't spend all the money.
It's a nice problem.
Yeah, it's a good problem. And then I think the other one is that's been about it really. And then just the big thing that we've been doing in our business is accountability. Really tracking our team, holding them accountable. I won't lie, I think we've probably fired 4 or 5 staff over the last couple of weeks because they've just not been delivering. And actually we're spending more money now than we've ever spent with less staff.
That's always an interesting one. That's always an interesting one. You like see and read and listen to lots of podcasts about stuff like that, like streamlining. Actually, you can save a lot of costs.
So Tom, here's the question. Are your staff getting bad because your other staff are getting too good? Or they're just getting bad? Or are they just bad? Like, if your staff get too good, it makes your other staff look bad. So it's like, what is it?
No. So we don't look at it that way. You're saying, are your peak performers are showing up the normal staff? We don't look at it that way, because where we do the tracking through our quarter dashboard in the Seller Academy, we just set everyone a target, and the targets are like realistic. They're not like you have to outperform, but as long as we're hitting that target, we're fine. Whereas those bad ones have not been doing it, and the net result has been that, should we say that we've just like pretty much, if you've got one member of staff, I don't know, spending 10,000 a week, we'd be really happy. But we're only after like 4, I think it's like 5,000 a week we want them to spend. So if they're doing 5,000, we're happy. But if you're spending 3,000 a week, then we got a problem. So the net result has been that we're really happy with the 10,000. Fantastic. They're going to get great bonuses. Well done. The 5,000 we're really happy with as well. Keep up the great work. We're not going to say you need to get to 10,000. No, not at all. We appreciate some people are better. But what we are saying is that the 2,000-3,000 a week people, what's going on? Why are you not delivering? And then after like 3 or 4 weeks, it's like, sorry, your role here is come untenable, and we need to dismiss you. And we go through a whole process of doing that with our team. It's just had a real impact. I think my operations manager, we had a conversation last week. He was like, I do coaching with him, and he sat down with me, like, Tom, I was like, how can I help you do? He's like, look, we've done really well. Like, we've had record revenues, record profits, record spends. This was like over the last week or two. How do we continue doing this? And I just asked the question, like, what have you been doing? He's like, well, we've been holding our team accountable, and we've been focusing on the repricer. And it's like, I was like, okay, cool. I was like, keep doing that. If it's working, keep doing it. He's like, okay, fine. So we're just doing more and more of that. Like, we'll probably hire some more staff, but I think we've lost one purchasing. We've got 5 purchasers now. We had 6 in the UK. We've lost one, but we'll hire one up. We'll hire up 2 more next year, and then obviously as well we'll continue to push the sourcing side.
So wait, hold on.
Go on.
So Tom, you said you had 5 purchasers
in the UK. Yeah, I had 6. Now I have 5
in the UK.
Yeah, they're doing 10,000 a week purchase. Does that make sense?
So my question is, why do you need 5 purchasers? Are you going extremely wide on your products, or are you going deep? Like, what is there a need that you need 5 times 40, 200? You need 200 hours per week purchasing. Why is that?
Yeah, the real thing is because of the money in the bank. There is so much money in our bank account right now that we can spend that I want to be able to spend it. Go on.
Is that a purchasing problem or a sourcing problem?
It's both. I can't ramp up. So what you got to realize is that, you know this, is that purchasing is a skill which takes time to develop. So we strategically wanted to build up our purchasing teams or purchasers, because if you lose one and you've only got one, you're basically fucked. So we wanted to have probably what was an excess. We probably got an excess of purchasers versus the revenue to do. You're doing the math. 10,000 a week is not very much, but the goal is to make sure we had them. But what we have actually seen is that we've had a sourcing problem. So we've got the purchase there; they can purchase more, but we also need to increase the sourcing. So what we've done over the last couple of weeks is really put the pressure on the sourcers, bring the accountability up. Now we're starting to see that coming through. We're now spending, but there is still capacity in that purchasing. That's the important thing I'd say. So, should we say going into next year, we'll continue to grow the sourcing and purchase. Go on.
You have 5 purchasers, and those 5 purchases, how much time do they actually spend per day purchasing? Like, how much time do they have free per day?
4 hours. Probably like 4 hours a day.
Okay. So I guess, guys, what I'm getting at is that Tom holds a lot of contingencies for his purchasers, so that way he does not have to do it himself. He'd rather have more and pay more than him having to do it himself.
Yeah, and that's why I do 100%. What I do. That's what I do, especially because with regular OA, I feel like deals will potentially last. The good ones will still last for a few hours, right, or maybe longer. Whereas with books, the best books will go in a few minutes. So that's why I have quite a big team, because I want eyes on screens 24/7, which is something Tom and I spoke about when we met like 18 months ago or whatever. So I kind of took that on board. But I'm still thinking whether I do need that much screen exposure, because I don't really know how productive they are being, but it's working so far. But I was going to ask you this question, Tom, because you were saying that you only had a set amount to spend this year, right? But this week, sorry. But so what do your team do when they can't spend?
So that was in the US. So we so we ran out in the US. So I can't transfer. Basically, I could, but I don't because they're different companies. You shouldn't change money. You can interloan. Don't do it. So they're different companies. So in the US we have a budget. That's what we play with, and in the UK we have another budget. We have so much more money in the UK, but I don't transfer. And the reason is because a lot of that money is the Amazon loan, and it's stipulated within the Amazon loan you can't pull it out of the company.
But another question is: so what do your team do if they can't actually do any sourcing? Like, what do you have them do?
It's a good question. Like, it's only one day, so they'll probably continue sourcing for the next week, find deals, and we'll buy them next week. We've got the money back available. That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then also, I was going to ask, because you were talking about your repricer. Is there any updates with that? You've been having issues with it. What's the latest with that?
No, I think the two things that I'll say. I'll come back to Gavin's point, then I'll talk about repricer. A lot of people try and run their business very efficient, and I really understand that. Like, they optimize for what are you doing? I think we've got one too many people who can say something here, and I get that. And I think Seth, you just talked about it as well. Like, my kind of mindset behind this is I am not doing this. And if I need to have one more extra member of staff, or two, so that I never have to worry about doing it, then that is perfectly fine. To put it in perspective, let's say, for example, I run at a 20% ROI for just simplicity's sake. If we do £10,000 extra spend, that's £2,000 worth of gross profit. Well, my VAs are only costing me £500, £600 for purchases, by the way, per month. Well, straight away, I'm still making a net £1,500 on top of that. By being a little bit more flexible, overloaded with staff. And the one thing I've seen throughout the time and time again is that, and I've experienced it, whereby I've had someone just quit, and all of a sudden you're straight back to square one. And it's my job is to build layers, and I need redundancy within those layers, purchasing, operations, admin, for example. And I'm happy to pay a bit more, maybe become less profitable, so that when things go wrong, I don't have to do it. There's other people involved. And to me, that's a decision that I make. And I won't make as much profit percentage-wise, net margin, should we say, net, than other people. But what I do think is the fact that I'll probably sleep better. And when shit goes wrong, I'm not stressing. And for me, that's what I value more than money. I make more money now than I need. What I'm actually paying for now is peace of mind. That's what I really want. I don't want to have to worry about purchasing, jumping in or anything. So that's the kind of question to Gavin. And then coming back to repricing, I haven't spent much time doing repricing this week, but I've now booked out 5 hours a week going forward for the next 4 weeks with my repricing analyst, to really define our rules. And we're doing a really logic flow about how we do our repricing. And a couple of rules which I'll say to anyone is when we look at the business, there's two areas. Number one is buying great deals, and number two is ensuring you maximize the profit of those great deals at the point of sale. Because sometimes we can buy a bad deal and actually make it a really profitable one, but other ones we can buy a great deal and it sells really poorly because the market condition changes. But for me, in repricing, what we're looking to do is to say, when we come to just the repricing element, my mantra behind it with my repricing analyst is look, we're not here to get rich. We're here to make an honest buck. That's it. So if the market's going up in the repricing, don't hold on, just sell it at what it is now. If the market is under the 90-day repricing average, then then we do a scenario-based analysis of do we think we can stay for an extra month and maybe the price will return. If it does, fantastic, we'll wait. If it doesn't, get out now. But if the market's going up, or if the market's at the historic normal repricing average, 90 days, I'm fine. Let it clear down, sell it, whatever. Even if we could make an extra 5% ROI by waiting out, it looks like it might go up. Don't bother. Just get out. Why? Because what we're really trying to do is buy products and sell it roughly the 90-day average. If we can sell it roughly the 90-day average, I'm pretty happy. That's my kind of repricing strategy and the way we're looking at it. And again, I come back to the mantra. I'm not here to get rich. I'm here to make an honest buck. Our job is not to lose money. That's the thing. And I think, the one thing I'm listening to, Alex Hormozy, is everyone's trying to win big, do everything big right now. And I'm he's the really successful people, all they're looking to do is go, how can I just get a good return? Consistently good return. I'm that's all I'm interested in. I'm not looking to try and get, maybe it's 30. If I waited, I could get 60% ROI, 100% ROI. No, just get the 30. If that's 90-day average, 30, stay at 30. Does that make sense?
No, that makes total sense. And I've been harping been on that like similar train of thought for a long time, because especially with books, it is very easy, like you say, to think, well, in 30 days I could probably make an extra $20 profit or whatever percentage. But I'm thinking I'd rather sell it today, and then we might find that book again in 10 days. So then if we'd have waited, we might not want 2 copies. So it's all about that turn rate, isn't it? It's all about the compounding. So many people don't realise that because they see the dollar signs or the potential dollar signs, but we don't want potential dollars, do we? We want the dollars. We want the dollars in the bank. But I find it mad how many people don't realise that point. I do find that quite crazy.
The old English adage, a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. It's like money in the bank is better than potential money at sales. You're like, we know it all. Estimated ROI, as much as we talk about it, is great, but it means nothing. When you actually sell it, money in the bank, that's what you care about.
Yeah, exactly. And also what you were saying about the repricing strategy, it's very easy to get bogged down in overcomplicating it. But then, like what you said there, if you just want to sell around the 90-day average, even if it's a little bit less, that's just something that's very easy for your team to understand, very easy for your software to understand, and it keeps me it makes me sleep better when I don't have 10 different rules that I'm worrying about. Oh, is this one better than the other, right? I'd rather I'd rather buy and sell more books than worry about whether this strategy can improve whatever metric a tiny bit. But I don't know what Gav's thoughts are on repricing shoes. I don't know what shoes are. I don't know what repricing on shoes, if it's any different to other categories or not.
He's got the one thing which I will say, and just as he drops off, is Gavin is like a G. He's a genius. He knows how to source. He knows how to keep it at a very high standard. He knows how to sell very well, and I really respect him for that. But the one thing which I really think about is the fact that it's him. He is the guy doing it. It's I'm not that person. I think there is a limit. You have 24 hours a day as a limit to what you can do. And at the end of the day, what I want to do is to be able to build a system for people who do this for me.
Yeah.
Gavin,
sorry. I was that guy as well, right? And to an extent, I still am. And I think that's the ultimate goal, is to take myself as much away from that as possible, right?
Agreed. 100%. But I think that's the goal. Gavin, thoughts? What are your thoughts on repricing? I said make it simple.
Yeah.
Wait, on repricing?
Yes.
So
he missed a lot, didn't he?
Yeah. So we were just talking about keeping it simple. Keeping it simple, stupid is the way to go, because it makes it easier for your team to understand it. Just makes everything easier. But I was just wondering, how has your repricing strategy changed from UK to US? Is shoes different as a category?
So if I'm doing shoes, my return rate is higher, so I need a higher minimum on my shoes to compensate for the higher return rate. Now, I will say one thing: yes, we want to keep it simple. 2, validate what your repricer is doing is what it should be doing. What I mean by that, if anything catches your interest, like it's selling too low, it's selling too high, investigate it. Never make any kind of assumptions. I've used reprices in the past where nothing makes sense, or the item does not get repriced at all, and I'm wondering what's going on, and I don't get any good feedback. So always validate. In 95% of the cases, the repricer was doing the right thing. But if that 5% of that is in the wrong thing builds up over time, then you have a large percentage of items which is doing the incorrect actions. So validate what your repricing should be doing and take nothing for granted is what I would say. What
would you say to someone with 18,000 SKUs? It's quite hard to discern which ones might not be doing as well as others.
I don't want to drop any repricer under the boat because I could be wrong. So it's better for me not to say anything and to give overall advice.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was actually just asking for a friend, being me. But but I agree, because I've recently tried a different repricer. Gavin will know about it. And I've used a couple of repricers before. And as far as I can see, they all obviously do exactly the same thing, and I don't really know whether one's better than the other. And I also went to a Miami Sellers conference, and that Scott Needham guy who does 70 million a year, he was very forthright in saying, I've tried pretty much all the reprices. I don't necessarily think there's a better one. It's more about which one suits you and fits you, and which one you enjoy using the most and find the easiest to build systems around and show your team how to use it. So that's why I'm quite reluctant to change repricer at all, unless it really screws up on me. Then I'll jump ship. But I just think the one.
Your business model, it's why change?
Yeah, exactly.
So big to justify the change. The money you have to gain has to be so big. in reality, the risk in jumping with prices is higher than people think. They all work slightly differently.
Yeah.
It's not a simple decision because your entire business is kind of like decided by your repricing strategy, right? And you want to keep it simple, but you also want to make sure the reprices do what it should be doing.
I just had a bit of a business idea here, just off the top of the head, for repricers or people wanting to start a repricer, right? It would, you know how banks in the UK switch your current account for you and they'll give you a bonus or something. They'll give you £250 if you, and then they'll do all the work for you. I'm always reluctant to try a different repricer because I've got to put in the work, or I've got to tell my team how to move all the SKUs over, right? Don't you think it would be cool if a repricer came to you and said, look, we'll do all the work for you, we'll move all of your listings from your old repricer to us, and we'll also give you, say, a free trial for a month, and they'll give you a few benefits. Surely that would be a good way to get new customers, right?
Yeah, your problem comes is that the banks understand that once people change banks, they never move, and they stay there for like 10 years. The prices are a bit different. Most people quit Amazon pricing, and what you do is you bounce around prices every month and just take the money, which is what I used to do with banks.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I did that as well. No, I wasn't saying I wouldn't actually give a cash reward, but you'd give incentives that if you stayed for 3 months, you get a reduced fee or something like that. But I just think that is a big barrier for me moving, and I'm sure it is a barrier for other people. So there's a gap there. Laziness is always a good way to find a business opportunity, I find.
Yeah, agreed.
I think,
but making people change is hard.
Right? Yeah, you still got to sell that, which is. And
it's generally to get people to move to an improvement is really hard. Getting people to move from the pain is a lot easier.
True.
That's why things like weight loss, dieting, they're all pain points.
Make money.
Whereas it's like, I've got pain, I've got no money. Whereas it's kind of like get 6-pack abs. That's a pleasure. It's a destination. It's a lot harder to move people to.
Yeah.
That's why the weight loss industry is much bigger than the 6-pack abs.
All right, guys.
Go on.
It's been lovely chatting, but I am going to disappear now for a few more beers, some pool. Hopefully, I do not get captured by any lady boys. I meet real girls. So yeah, that's me out of here.
All right.
Stay safe, Gavin.
Guys, but I'm going to disappear. All right, I'm going to leave the rest of it to you guys. Okay, bye bye. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Gavin.
I don't know how to turn it off.
Wait, Thailand.
Looks like Thailand to me. A lot quieter though.
Gavin, why do you choose the quiet places?
Why do I what?
It's just, why is it so quiet?
So I'm in fucking a very loud area. That's why. Oh, why is Costa Mai quiet? Apparently, people party in Costa Mai around midnight.
8
so
p.m.
early doors.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, have an excellent time. Look after the podcast. I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.
See you next week, mate. Bye.
Bye. Here's a question, Seth. While he is abroad, what do you think? So, like, if you were to go to Asia now, where would you go?
I would probably go to Thailand, but then go to Chiang Mai, probably.
Yeah, me too.
Because I just preferred the north. Yeah. There's more going on. And you told me there's lots of digital nomads there, aren't there? Whereas Bangkok's a bit big and sweaty and hot, so I wouldn't really want to stay in Bangkok. Although there is a WeWork there, isn't there? So I'll maybe stay there for a bit and check that out. I think there might be one in Bangkok, so maybe I'll go to that for a couple of weeks and then see.
Weeks? Why?
No, yeah, probably. No, just get my money's worth. Anyway. I need to get my money's worth. That's it. I need to get my office space.
Yeah, I would do the same. I'd do Chiang Mai. I think Chiang Mai is the place to be in Thailand. I think the islands are cool, but I think you should go to the islands for the party, like go to Koh Phangan for things. I think the problem Gavin's done is the fact that, admittedly, he's staying with his friend, absolutely fine, but he wants to go live the Thai experience, enjoy the party, because obviously hence he's out. He's been out a lot, but it's like he's gone to like the quiet place.
Yeah. I'm glad I did it when I did it. I'm glad I did it when I didn't have a job or a business to run. I don't feel like it's not drawing me there. I'll definitely go to the Philippines to meet the team and maybe stop off in Thailand. But I don't feel like I need to do an extended trip over there because been there, done that.
Right. If anyone's watching, Seth's really saying he's glad he's done it, but he's glad he had no responsibilities when he did it. And for myself, when I first travelled to Thailand, I got drunk for like 6 months, 6 nights a week. It was a mess. And I did have responsibilities in my Amazon UK business. And I won't lie, it nearly failed. It really did. Like, it nearly failed. But like, that's the kind of thing. It's quite, it's a really great place to go party. Do it now. If you're wondering, should you go to Thailand right now when you've got no responsibilities, then come back and do your business.
And then go to Australia for a few months and do the working visa. if you're English or Canadian.
Yeah.
I think those are the two.
I've never been. I need to. One day I'll do that.
Well, I'm sure there's some sort of business conference you can expense your way over there, and it's a fun time for sure.
Right, should we call it a day there?
Yeah, half an hour, that works for me, and hopefully next week Gavin won't be in a bar.
He will be a ladyboy. He'll be a lady.
he'll be with a lady.
He's going to become at one with his inner ladyboy.
I think so.
I think he's actually back in Mexico City in like 3 weeks' time. He's not spending long in Thailand.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right, so then we can. Well, if we do this time every week, then or whatever, that would be good. Because
we'll see what Gavin says, but I'm sure he'll let us know that the time won't work at the time we're supposed to record.
Yeah, that's.
If you want to know, there's like a running joke between us that we have a calendar, we put it on the calendar, we schedule it out, and then when it happens, Gavin's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that." Like one time we were supposed to record this, but he was on a plane. Like that's why we have a calendar, so you can see when things conflict.
Yeah, but, it's happened at least 4 times now, so I'm sure it will be a running theme throughout. But we'll persevere. We'll persevere. And so anyone who made it this far, thanks very much for watching. Please comment and subscribe and ask any questions if you'd like to pick our brains, because we always like to answer anything Amazon and or travel related. But I think thanks, Tom, for sharing the last few minutes with me about Gavin. And hope you have a lovely Friday morning and afternoon and evening. And I'm about to go to the gym and have a few beers.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Ciao.